Well, it's a cool day in July 2009, but then we've had a lot of cool days in July 2009 and in June. It's a rainy afternoon, but fishermen don't mind rain. And we're telecasting live. This is a new experience for me. Streaming, if you will, perhaps on your favorite computer, or if you're watching our little corner via your favorite cable system, or sometime far into the future, that's okay too. We're at a place we've been before, and that's Bill McBride Chevrolet, located right here in Plattsburgh at 5101 US Avenue. For a very good reason. Even though Brian McBride hopes the showroom will be loaded with this many people every day from the rest of the summer, there is a special occasion going on here today and throughout this coming weekend as we're here on July 8th on a Wednesday. And it's called the FLW Outdoor Tour Chevy Meet the Pro Night. It's hosted by Bill McBride Chevrolet. And there'll be a lot of festivities, not only here tonight when you'll get to meet a lot of these great FL Outdoor fishermen, the pros in the business, if you will, but festivities out on Lake Champlain as these guys catch some big fish, maybe like have never been caught in this area before. Part of the process of streaming live on the internet involves Brian, who is a veritable genius, if you will.
Thank you.
And I tell people he's got a back room with more wonderful electronic equipment and wires. I call it spaghetti going everywhere. And so he decided to start a website called Plattsburgh.com. And I, for one, am delighted that he did. I've promoted it far and wide with all my friends and neighbors and people I hope to become my friends all around the world via the internet. And many of them will be watching from such faraway places tonight, we hope, as Australia, Chateaugay, and Manassas, Virginia. And I hope to get a great education about, not only about fishing, but about an outfit that runs the most extensive, gargantuan fishing tournaments in the world, and that is FLW Outdoor. For those of you who aren't aware of it, FLW is named after Forrest L. Wood, who actually founded Ranger Boats, one of the most iconic names in the business. These people have been here before. I mean, a guy named Samuel de Champlain came down through here and said what a lovely lake this is in 1609. And many people have discovered it since that time, especially local fishermen who I guess kept it a pretty good secret for a long time. And then finally, some of the big guys and gals rediscovered it, and they decided they'd hold these big tournaments here because there are fish in this lake. So that's why we're here tonight, to meet many of the pros, to find out what the world-class fishing tournaments are all about, to meet some of the original founders, some of the guys who have paid a lot of money to be here, have paid a lot of money fishing in places all around the world, and have laid out some big bucks on some. Have you seen some of these boats, folks? I mean, that's a far cry from that 16-foot rowboat that we had when we were kids over on the St. Lawrence River. So these guys are hoping to make some money here tonight, to make money for their sponsors. And Brian's object is to...
let's welcome the people on the web. We're on the web.
We're on the web. Welcome.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. Hi, how are you?
The audio capture doesn't fit the device, so we got to plug.
We'll be back.
Stay tuned, folks. I love your puppy.
Brian is busy, Gordy, lining up the audio portion. We've had this audio problem with our live streaming video that we've done, and we've solved it a couple of times. And Brian is working on that right now for our people watching on Our Little Corner episode, but the people watching on the internet so far have seen the camera on the floor and and other things.
We're doing our best to correct all the problems.
This
is a new kind of technology. This is
just
cutting
remember,
edge.
what was Bell's first words? Come here, Watson, or something like that. I just burned myself.
Yeah.
So we're in the Alexander Graham Bell stage of all this, but we're going to get better at it.
Do I have to ask for the operator at some point in time? But those people who are watching it on our little corner are seeing progress in action here. This is just like one small step was for us many years ago.
40 years ago this year.
This is the quadricentennial of the of Lake Champlain, of Samuel de Champlain's visit through the area, and he had a lot to write about and say about. And we're thankful to him, and we've covered quite a few quadricentennial events, and I think you can include this FLW tournament in the quadricentennial, because if it happens this summer,
Lake Champlain,
you're in whether you like it or not. And it isn't just lip service. It isn't just fluff. They bring the big guys here. We've already been told in a pre-interview before we went on television tonight that these are the big guns who are here today. We saw some of them listed, and I hope I can pronounce some of their names, but I'll mention some of the Team Chevy fishermen. Jimmy Houston, Larry Nixon, Luke Clausen, Jay Yellis, Kim Stricker, Dion Hibden, and Anthony Gagliardi, whose name we mentioned before because he was getting out of his car when we were doing some interviews out in the parking lot. There are a lot of good reasons why fishermen in this area would like to meet these guys, because they are big stars. They're on the FLW Outdoors team, and they are big stars. So they'll be here tonight signing autographs. They'll pose for your pictures if you happen to bring your little digital or Brownie Kodak camera. And they'll offer lots of advice for fishing fans as well.
All right, welcome.
We welcome you wherever you might be watching this program around the world, or even as close as Katyville, New York, which is only 5 miles away. We're streaming live on the internet and recording our little corner in what we hope is a rather exciting session, because we've looked forward to it for a long time, so it's got to be good. We're at Bill McBride Chevrolet on U.S. Avenue in Plattsburgh, and we got the FLW Tour Chevy Meet the Pro Night. Brian, excitement, it builds by the moment.
We are very excited. This is going to be a big night for everybody. The FLW Tour is here in Plattsburgh. It's Meet the Bass Pro Night at the dealership here on U.S. Avenue. All of the top fishermen in the FLW Tour are here tonight. They're here to meet their fans. They're here to sign autographs. We've got all kinds of prizes and giveaways. We've got the National Guard bass fishing simulator right outside the window, right outside the door here. So a lot of stuff's going on. It's tonight from 6 to 8, and it's great to have you guys here.
FLW Outdoors is a powerful organization, and it's gaining steam every day.
They're huge. They're the largest fishing organization in the world. They sponsor tournaments all over the United States, Canada. This is I think we heard a reference to it earlier. We heard a reference to it earlier that this is the major leagues, this is the NFL, this is the NBA of fishing. These guys are the cream of the crop of professionals.
And I know that Bill McBride Chevrolet and Chevrolet in general is proud to be one of the main sponsors of FLW Outdoors.
Absolutely. Well, we're Chevrolet and Bill McBride Chevrolet are very happy to have the FLW Tour here tonight. They're a great organization. They have strong ethics and they're very in tune with their fan base.
I want to let people know that you can hear, it sounds almost like a circus barker in the background, because the crowds are gathering. We've had a very rainy summer the rain is just about stopping for this evening as we're live at about 2 minutes before 6, streaming on that internet around the globe.
Yeah, I think we've had so much rain. I've been thinking about going up to Dick's Sporting Goods and getting a mask, fins, and snorkel, and so we can go out on the lot.
Building an ark in the parking lot.
Yeah.
In any case, people are streaming in here because this actual pro night for FLW is starting technically in a couple of minutes, but I think people jumped the gun.
We've already got a large crowd here. It's I would venture there's probably 75 to 100 people on the grounds already. We're looking forward. Many people to come down, 500, 1,000, 2,000 people come down and meet the pros. These guys are great. They're very accessible, and they want to meet everybody.
If you're watching this program on the internet close by, put that machine of yours on battery and carry it in the car with you, because the first 100 people are going to be given FLW hats.
Yeah.
They're going to have prizes, all kinds of fishing equipment. They're going to have a die-cast Ranger boat.
Yes.
Yeah, named after Mr. FLW himself, and special fishing tackle, rod and reel prizes for the kids under 14 that come here tonight. So there'll be a lot of excitement.
Absolutely. Probably one of the bigger things is that the FLW and Ranger boats are giving away a bass boat and trailer Sunday at their weigh-in at the field house.
Can you believe that?
Oh, it's huge. It's I think it's about a $20,000 prize, and no cost to enter. We have the entry forms here at the dealership. Come down and fill out a form. You just have to be present on Sunday. Somebody in Plattsburgh at the field house will win that $20,000 boat and trailer, brand new.
And about 150 truly professional fishermen will be here for this FLW Bass Tournament on Lake Champlain this weekend. Not only will they be here, but there'll be a lot of people who wish they were here.
Absolutely.
Who didn't make it this time around. It's not for the weak of heart or the skinny of pocketbook, because these guys pay $4,000 as an entry fee to get in. But the prospect of winning hundreds of thousands of dollars in the tournament after this. We heard there was about $1 million in prizes up for grabs. You wonder why they're buying that big boat and heading to Plattsburgh, New York.
Absolutely. This is the major leagues. This is the real deal. These guys are serious fishermen, and they're the best of the crowd out there.
I want people to know that if you're watching this on streaming video, you might see an occasional pause throughout the evening. For those people who are watching on their cable systems or from some other means at Plattsburgh.com or HometownCableNetwork.com, you can watch a full edition of Our Little Corners. We plan to be here doing this until 8 o'clock tonight. But the live streaming camera might go off for a moment while we round up people to interview and talk more about the exciting things that are happening at Bill McBride Chevrolet on U.S. Avenue in Plattsburgh.
Absolutely. Just hang tight with us. This is all brand new technology. It's cutting edge. We know what we're doing, but sometimes the internet doesn't know what we're doing. So we'll have an entertaining night for you.
Talk louder so I know they can hear me at least in the parking lot. Stay with us, friends.
All right, let's show people what we're doing here. Is my camera has got this umbilical cord to Brian's computer here, and he is wirelessly tied into the internet. And Brian's going to be pushing this cart and following us around, and I'll be shutting off as far as taping, but I'm hoping to keep the camera alive. But so once we're not taping, we're relocating. You people watching on the internet are going to have some shaky camera work, and we apologize for that. But this is our mode of transportation right here, this little cart. So we're going to cut off for the people watching this on tape, but for the people on the internet watching it live, the camera work's about to be jumpy, and hopefully Gordy and I won't say anything off color while
I'll try very hard.
while we're off the tape.
I've heard too many open microphones lately on the political front. It's nice to see many of our friends and neighbors who are here tonight. And I'm sure people are just driving by and they see that big, beautiful National Guard fishing simulator in the parking lot. They see a radio station canopy set up. They see lots of their friends and neighbors stopping here, and, you know, curiosity won't kill the cat, but it might line you up for a new Chevy, or maybe you can win something during the competition here tonight. I know we're going to have fun. That you planned on for a long time.
We're on the tape now too, besides being on India.
We're on tape again for our little corner. We've done a lot of different things in our day, and I hear people trying to explain what our program is all about, and sometimes defies definition or explanation. But this is something you've planned on for quite a while with these guys.
Actually, it's been turning into a year-long event, or an annual event, pardon me. This is our...
We'll get Charlie Evans on that live internet?
Absolutely.
Gordy Little.
Gordy Charlie Evans.
Charlie, glad to have you here.
Proud to be here,
we
sir.
thought we'd start right at the top.
Wow, we got to find some more to go then.
We know a little bit about this wonderful organization of yours, but tell us a little bit about what it's all about and how you got involved with it, Charlie.
FLW Outdoors is the world's largest tournament fishing organization, and we're proud to be here in Plattsburgh once again. This is one of our favorite stops. This year it's
Gosh, I love to hear that.
Yeah, this year's really exciting. It's our final stop of the year, which means we'll determine our Land O'Lakes Angler of the Year here at this event.
No kidding.
Yes, we'll know who that is. We got a tight race on top right now. Brent Angler is leading, but 3 points behind him is Clark Winnett, who's already won it twice, and so make 3 times for him. So we've got a great race going on. We also will determine who our pros and co-anglers are that will qualify for the 2009 $2 million Forestwood Cup in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, July the 30th
right
through
off
August
your tongue,
the 2nd.
Charlie. $2 million?
$2 million, no entry fee event, $1 million first place prize available there, so, and which is the largest prize in fishing. So a lot at stake here at this tournament, and this tournament here is one that all of our anglers look forward to all year long. We have more people that bring their families here to this event than any other tournament we have, because they love the area, they love the lake, and they love Plattsburgh. They really do.
I wonder what there is about it. When's the first time you ever visited here, Charlie?
I came here early on. I was one of the people that did a survey to determine whether we could have an event up here or not. In fact, I visited the folks across the pond and chatted with them, and they came over here and visited over here back with Mayor Dan when he was here, and came across the ferry one time and then took a boat out on the water, and I fell in love instantly. It's just, the fishing is phenomenal. It's fantastic. This is probably the best smallmouth fishing in the country, bar none.
Don't you love it?
It really is.
Underline that, folks.
But on top of that, the scenery and just the pristine beauty of the lake is unsurpassed. And then you top that off with the friendliness of the people here. I mean, it's like everybody's welcoming you home when you come to upstate New York.
You're talking to a guy who's probably fished every lake and stream in this country and every other continent.
I fished all over the world. I really have, and I've fished everywhere there. If there's a pond, I fished it at some point in my long career. But this is one of my very favorite places to come. It's just so exciting, so much fun, and like I said, the place is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
We call it our quality of life, and we used to have an air base here, and that's how we saved it for a while, by saying, look at what we've got around here. But it's always wonderful to hear people like you who weren't born within 100 miles of this place.
Not within 1,000 miles of this place, for sure.
To come up here and say that you love it. Where are you originally from, Charlie?
I'm from Kentucky. That's where FLW Outdoors is located. Our operations are in Benton, Kentucky. And I'm born in Kentucky, raised in Kentucky all my life. I love Kentucky. Wouldn't think of moving anywhere else, but if I did, it would be right here.
Did you start fishing with a little bamboo pole, or how did it start for you anyway?
My mom and dad my dad worked really hard all week long as an automobile mechanic, and my 4 brothers and I, we would load into the car and head to the creek on the weekend. Creeks and wading creeks and rivers and going fishing. You're right, we started with cane poles, and my dad actually had one of those steel rods, steel bait casting rod that he fished in, and so we fished our entire lives. Is what we did as a family unit, as entertainment and as an activity, and it's something that stuck with me the entire life. Fishing is so much fun. You know that there are more people that fish in the United States than that play golf and tennis combined. Did you know that?
I didn't till now. That's
more
wonderful.
people fish than play golf and tennis combined. More people fish in the United States than people live in the state of California.
Wow.
Did you know that?
Wow.
So a lot of people fish, over 50
We're
million
going to put this
people.
man on Jeopardy next
I'll tell
Monday
you,
night.
over 50 million people that enjoy the sport, and it is a great sport. It's something the entire family can do and get involved in. And Forrest Wood, our namesake, FLW, Forrest L. Wood, he says that families that engage in outdoor activities together make stronger family units, and I believe that.
Isn't that true?
And he says bass fishermen make better citizens. I was talking to a state trooper the other day, and he told me, he said,
Always good to make friends of the state police. Yeah.
He told me he has never arrested somebody with rods in the back of their car. You just don't. People that are fishermen are just better people.
Where's my fishing tackle?
They're just better people. They really are. You don't find them holding up service stations or liquor stores or anything. Bass fishermen are out there again doing something that is good, clean, wholesome, fun, and have a great respect for our country, for authority, and great respect for our resources.
You don't have to do it for money. These guys have a lot at stake because they got a lot invested here, and so do the sponsors. But there's a lot to be said about the sport of fishing because it's good for the soul, just going out on a weekend and throwing in a line.
Well, I will tell you this now. My granddad, he was a great wise man, probably the wisest man ever known. He was from far eastern Kentucky, up in Perry County, and he told me that every day that you spend on the water fishing doesn't count against you. It's a free day. It's an absolutely free day, and I may be
You
lived
ought to have about 84 years of free days.
I'm going to live to be 300. There's no doubt about it.
How did you get involved in FLW in the first place?
I actually fished the very first tournament that our company ever ran back in 1980. It was the company was organized in '79, ran its first tournament in 1980, and I fished that tournament. And I told the gentleman that ran that tournament at that time that I really was impressed by his the way he ran the tournament, his enforcement of the rules, by his structure, by the atmosphere. And I told him that time if he ever got ready to expand, give me a call. And so in 1982 he did. So ready to grow the company and expand some more. And so I joined the company in 1982, and it's been. At FLW Outdoors, we have a saying that in our company, every day is a holiday, and the next day is Thanksgiving.
I like that.
Yes.
You know what, you were talking, I was on the radio business for a long, long time, and I was just thinking of all the songs I remember about fishing. From Arthur Godfrey before you were born to all the modern country songs about fishing.
Absolutely.
And it gets to turn out, no matter what people are doing in life, they'd always rather be fishing.
I think that's true. You know, I think there's no greater way to, like I said, to get out and get involved with people. Forrest Wood says there's no place on earth that people stand up and share more common ground than in a bass boat, and I tend to believe that. So you put any two people in the country and stick them in a bass boat, put them on Lake Champlain, they're going to have a great day.
What's different about bass fishing from the other sport fish?
Well, I think the bass fishing is so unique because it's so universally available. Every state in the union has bass except for Alaska. So the other 49 states have bass. They're close to you wherever you live at. You can always get out and catch them, where other species of fish are only regional. They're only in the north, they're only in the south, they're only in the west. And so bass is more universally available. And they're also very challenging. For a little bitty fish, they sure can be awfully elusive at times.
This Chevy tour is a good one, and you brought some of the top names in the business with you to fish this weekend. And am I right in what I heard there were about 150 people in this tournament?
We have 150 pros and 150 co-anglers, 300 total competitors in this event, fishing for a first place prize of $125,000. That's more money than you make in a month, you know?
As my mother used to say, in a month of Sundays.
They're going to make it in 4 days, $125,000. And on top of that, somebody is going to win $100,000 without even having to make a cast in their fantasy fishing. This event here, and tonight at midnight is the cutoff for it, but everybody has to go to fantasyfishing.com, pick their favorite top 10, in the order they think they're going to finish. If they do a better job than anybody else, they win $100,000 in fantasy fishing.
And you don't even have to shoot baskets or kick punts or anything else.
You don't have to fish like a pro to win like a pro with fantasy fishing.
Isn't that amazing? So, what happens after this one? This is the last big one here, right?
Then we're headed to the Forrest Wood Cup. The dates there are July 30th through August the 2nd, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The 4 days of the greatest outdoor show ever assembled. The greatest anglers in the world fishing for 4 days, fight it out to who is the very best, and will claim the $1 million first place prize prize.
I just like to hear you say it. It rolls right off your tongue.
I got to tell you, it is amazing. That's the largest prize in all of competitive fishing, $1 million first place prize in a no entry fee event. It's a life-changing thing. $1 million, that's more than you make in 6 months.
Oh, here he goes again. You know, you don't often think of fishing as a spectator sport, but when these guys come in with the first-class gear, it turns people's heads. They're going to stop their car to take a look at that trailer.
I got to tell you, these wrap boats with here we got the Chevy Pro Team here tonight with the Chevy Suburbans with all the big signs up and down. The boats wrapped in Chevrolet. We were called the next NASCAR, I think, by one magazine. They really are beautiful trucks, beautiful boats, and our anglers dressed in their uniforms. And the most amazing thing about these pros is they're more than willing to share their time and their expertise with anybody that wants to come. And in our events, they're very accessible. During all 4 days of this event, you can walk up to any pro at any time. We have no barriers, no ropes that you can't cross. You can walk right out the middle of it.
Boy,
and really
is that unique in that respect? These are the nicest people. Their knowledge is hard to come by sometimes. You got to spend a lot of time with nothing on the end of that line.
These guys are so good. They are so good. You could take that trash can right there, put 10 gallons of water in it, give these guys 15 minutes, and somebody will catch a 5-pounder out of it. They're that good.
Bring it right up through the floor. Isn't that great?
It is great.
These are fishermen are the nicest people in the world, and people who come to fishing tournaments like this are pretty first-class operation. I really appreciate you coming here today. I can understand fully now why you're the top man in FLW Outdoors, because you love it. You love people, and to say the nice things you said about our North Country, and I can tell that you mean it, Charlie.
Absolutely. We love coming here, and we plan to come many, many times again in the future. Thank you so much for having me on.
We'd love to have you. Thanks. We hope we didn't take too much of your time.
Not at all.
Charlie.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks, yeah.
We
Live on the internet.
Great.
we know why you're in town.
Yeah, we're here to catch some of these great bass that live on Lake Champlain, and we always love coming up here. It's one of the best fishing lakes in the country.
He said it again, and he didn't even hear Charlie say that.
No, well, you ask anybody that's been here, and everybody will tell you the same thing. You know, we travel all over the country, and there's few lakes that can compare with Lake Champlain. It'd certainly be one of the top 10 bass fisheries in the nation. Maybe the top 5.
You've been here before.
Several times, yeah.
And you'll be maybe come back for vacation when you don't have to work
I
so
know.
hard.
Yeah, well, I live in Oregon. That's the only
Oh,
problem.
you do?
Yeah.
You can't be much farther away.
No, but I just flew out here. But yeah, it'd be a long drive, that's for sure.
We'd love to have you because we like your state too, you know.
Yeah, they're similar. It's
So many ways.
in a lot of ways. The climate is similar and stuff, and but it's Champlain is just such a large lake, and you can what's neat for a tournament is you can spread out. There's 150 miles or whatever it is of fishing, and and you just
Give 1 mile to every person in
1
the
square mile to everybody in the tournament. That's right.
Now we heard Charlie talking about, what was it, co-anglers? What the heck is a co-angler?
Okay, a co-angler is an amateur. These are pro-am tournaments.
Oh.
And so they refer to the amateurs as co-anglers. And I guess just a terminology that the FLW Tour has always used. And I guess the pros are the anglers and the amateurs are the co-anglers. So, but anyway, that's who they're referring to.
We talked to Bill earlier, and he used an analogy of fishing tournaments like this to the sport of baseball, with the major leagues all the way down to AA and AAA. Is that true?
Absolutely, yeah.
Different tiers?
Oh, yeah, different tiers. Like the FLW Tour would be like the major leagues, and then they've got a FLW Series, which is a step below, probably like AAA, and then they have the Stren Series, and then they have the BFLs, and so yeah, there's like 4 or 5 different, the Federation, so there's like 5 different tiers of tournament fishing, you bet.
So FLW Outdoors is a well put together organization.
Oh, absolutely. I think they put on about 250 bass tournaments, a year, and I don't know if that's the number, how accurate that is this year, but I know in the past they've done a bunch, and that's just of the professional level. That's not including the BFL, which is the Bass Fishing League. that lower level, there's a lot more also. But of the top line pro tournaments, they put on more than anybody in the country.
I'm always interested in why people do what they do.
Yeah, we love it. Bass fishing is just a really intriguing sport, and trying to figure out the fish on a daily basis and how to catch more.
And you never will you?
No, you never will. That's why you can't ever get enough. Is you just that's what these tournaments show you. Even if you have a good day, somebody always has a better day than you, so it makes you hungry to get back out there and try to do better the next time.
Charlie started as a little kid with a cane pole in Kentucky somewhere. How did it begin for you?
I started the same way as a kid. My grandfather used to take me fishing, and we'd just go out and catch pike or bass or bluegill or trout. It didn't matter. Any kind of fish is fun for a kid, and I still love fishing for a lot of different species. I fish for bass for a living, but when I have spare time, I like to go for salmon or steelhead or walleye, just whatever. It's all fun.
I'm positive, in spite of the fact that there are more people fishing than almost anything else.
Yeah.
As Charlie was telling us, there are people who never held a pole out there.
Yeah, it's sad.
But once it bites you, it's got you.
Oh yeah, it does. It just becomes a lifestyle where fishing is just something that you long to do every time you have a free day, and it's just it's good for the soul. There's a lot of ways to enjoy fishing. See, you can tournament fish, but people also enjoy fishing with their children or their grandparents or with family. You go out with your buddies and have a good time, your old college buddies, and enjoy a day together. You can go fishing by yourself and just enjoy the solitude. I mean, that's why people love to go. There's several different ways to enjoy it, and just whatever fits your style, and there's a style of fishing that's good for you.
How did you, now you're going to go out with an amateur this weekend?
That's right.
Is it somebody you knew before?
No, we get a different amateur each day. And that way it keeps, they have a random pairing every day, so you never know who you're going to fish with until the evening before. And I drew a guy from Michigan for tomorrow. So so that'll be fun.
They got a couple of good-sized fishing spots in Michigan.
Oh yeah, they do. Lake Erie and Lake St. Clair. Well, I guess Erie's not in Michigan, but St. Clair is one of my favorites too.
Now, tell me, how do you rack up points in this tournament?
Well, the tournament is scored by the total weight of the fish you catch. So you get 5 fish a day, and your total weight, is how you're scored in the tournament, and it's a cumulative weight for the first 2 days. And then when the tournament's over with, they award 200 points for the winner, 199 for second, 198 for third, and so on. And that's how they keep track of your standings for the end of the year to qualify for the championship, the Forest Wood Cup.
So where do you stand?
I'm in 29th place right now. This is the last tournament of the regular season. And then we go down to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the Forest Wood Cup. So they're like the top 50 guys will qualify for that. So I'm in pretty good shape for qualifying for that.
That'd be good. $1 million wouldn't be hard to take, would it?
No, that would be easy to take, yeah.
He smiles when he says that.
That's right.
Calvin asked me something that sounds kind of simple, but we're not fishermen, so we don't know. Do all the fish go back in the lake?
Yeah, they do. We keep the fish in aerated live wells in the boat. And they have pumps that recirculate the water all day long, and we're penalized 8 ounces per dead fish, which that's a major penalty.
There's a good point.
Yeah, we add some chemicals to the water that help the fish, helps to relax the fish and increase the oxygen content in the live wells. We do the best job we can to keep them alive, and after they're weighed, at the end of the day, we release them back into the lake. So yeah, normally 99% of the fish are released back alive, and
It wouldn't be any fun if we didn't ask you about some good fish stories. So tell us a good fish story. What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
Well, the biggest one I ever caught was an 11-pound, 11-ounce bass, and I caught
come on,
giant.
Where?
I caught it at Lake Toho in Florida, and it was in a tournament in 2001, and I found her on a bed. She was spawning, And I pulled up there. Yeah, I'm a giant. And I threw
Be still my heart.
I know. I could see her sitting on this spawning bed. I threw a Berkeley tube in there a couple times, and she wouldn't look at it. And I tied on a 6-inch Berkeley Power Lizard, and I flipped that in there. She ate it right off the bat.
Isn't that amazing?
And you know, those big ones, they don't fight as much as the smaller ones. I just pretty much reeled her right in.
You may never find another one that size as long as you live.
You're right. Yeah, that's a giant.
Unless it happens maybe this weekend.
I don't know. What's the state record up here? Well, you're not a fisherman.
I'm not a fisherman, so I don't have the faintest idea.
I don't think there's an 11-pounder this far north. They got to have. I don't think they get that big up here. Only in the south.
I'll tell you something. We have a legendary Lake Champlain monster called Champ or Champy. If you hook into him,
yeah, he might take all the line off my reel.
You might be in Oregon before you get the motor shut off.
I'll let you know if I hook him.
I want to wish you great luck. Thanks so much. You're a good guy.
No problem.
Good to meet you. See you later.
Out here.
No, I'm sorry, Rob.
That's all right.
I heard you over there. You having fun yet?
Oh, we're having a great time. What about an exciting crowd out here at
Isn't it good?
McBride's Chevrolet tonight?
I think you brought a little sunshine.
Well, we had it up here yesterday and the day before, but the rain come back a little bit. Y'all had a lot of rain up here in the area the last 3 weeks.
My. We thought we were back at your place. No, it's been a little bit rough. We're not used to temperatures at 60 degrees on July 8th. The normal high temperature would be 81 degrees.
Right. Well, how's that going to affect the fishing up here? Now, we're going to put 150 of the best pros in the United States out there and 150 of the best co-anglers starting in the morning at 6:30. What do you think about that?
I think that's wonderful. I didn't even know what a co-angler was until we just talked with a couple of the guys, and they said it is a pro-am tournament. I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah, in other words, it's a true pro-am. In other words, all the pros are competing amongst themselves, and then the co-anglers, 150 will be competing among themselves. So again, here you got 2 tournaments, and that's how it keeps a fair playing field, especially with all the cash that is available. $125,000 on the pro side and up to $20,000 on the co-angler side. But if he's got the right stuff, it could even go up even higher.
And the fantasy guy can earn $100,000 just for sitting in front of his computer?
Yeah, last year Michael Thompson, stay-at-home mom, he won $1 million.
Isn't that
His wife went to work and he had 2 kids. He stayed at home, got involved with fantasy fishing, won $1 million last year. But like you're right, this tournament right here, you got until midnight tonight to get on fantasyfishing.com, pick the top 10, win $100,000, only in America.
Isn't it nice to stand out there as you did before, Rob, with a microphone and have some young person or even an older person win a prize, maybe the first fishing pole they ever had?
Well, do you see the smile on the young man about 8 years old a while ago, won that rod and reel? Jesse come up, and it was just amazing of what we do, not only at Chevy Pro Night, but all of the other sponsored events. And right here at Bill McBride Chevrolet, and all these are compliments of the Chevrolet dealership tonight at Chevy Pro Night.
You told me outside before our show ever began, and we're streaming this on the internet all over the world. God knows somebody's fishing maybe with his laptop sitting right next to him on the Wi-Fi there. But you told me you really take care of your sponsors.
Well, again, here sponsors are a big part of it. In other words, our entries come with our fishermen, but sponsors, it's important for, when we're out here driving Chevrolet products across the United States, and then with the fishing industry, the amount of money that Chevrolet puts back into the sport, not only in the tournament side of it, but Chevrolet does that through restocking programs. They get involved with FLW Outdoors and other organizations. So, General Motors in tough times right now, and we all need, it's American made. Let's get behind them, and they're behind us all the time and pull them through these tough times.
That's the backbone of our country when you stop to think about it. when the going gets tough, the tough got to get going and help each other out. And you said money from this tournament comes back to New York State.
Well, sure. In other words, again, here, what happens right here with the economic impact, not only in Plattsburgh, this money will turn over 5 or 6 times that we're putting in not only right here in this local community, but throughout the state of New York in how we do with Fish America, again, with Walmart products that we have. They're a great sponsor with us, and take kids fishing across the United States June the 6th every year. The National Guard, we're sitting right across the street. What history, right here for the first National Guard that protects our freedoms, to gives us the right to be out here and do what we're doing tonight.
What goes around comes around is an old phrase, but it really does apply. And I know fishermen like to give back to the communities. And when you first hear people come from out of state saying, you got a beautiful lake up here, you wonder if they're really sincere because they're on camera and on the microphone. Everybody we've talked to that's involved in this tournament comes back here and say, you got a beautiful spot up here. We love Plattsburgh, New York.
Well, what a fishery. Bass fishing, not only with the smallmouth fishery that you have, but largemouth. Where can you go, and go out here in probably 4, 5, 6 hours just for fun fishing, not tournament fishing, and catch 50 to 60, 70 bass. The fishery is very well, it's alive, it's vigorous out here. You can go out and catch 4 or 5 pound smallmouth. You can and go down towards Ticonderoga on the south end of the lake and catch you a 6 pound largemouth. So the fishery, they're not just saying that because we've got a camera. I haven't been on the lake, probably in 5 years, but I could get me a pole tomorrow and you could get in the back of my boat, and I'll bet you within 4 hours tomorrow we could catch 50 bass. Now, where else in the United States?
Not many.
Not many places could you do that and just go out and fun fish. So the fishery is just tremendous up here, and that's the reason, the people like Luke Clausen from Spokane, Washington. You've got Brent Eller from the West Coast, Tim Klinger. You got Scott Martin coming out of Okeechobee. Those are some fine waters down there in Florida. We've got Clear Lake where they've got 20 pound bass out there, 15. But here they are right here fishing, and it's a tournament. But what a fishery that they can catch.
Are you going to be fishing in the tournament, Rob?
Nah, I wish I was.
Oh.
No, I'll be in the background. Like I say, I help with the.
Somebody got to run the show,
That's right. Charlie Evans and Bill Taylor, they head up, or Charlie Evans, the president of FLW Outdoors. You interviewed him earlier.
We sure did. What a great guy.
And Bill Taylor, he is the tournament director. Anytime for any of our tournaments, we only have one director. And that one person makes that decision. Now, we run in excess of over 200 tournaments a year. But we have several other tournament directors. But again, to be involved in the program and be here in Plattsburgh, New York, and on Lake Champlain, it's just a great feat for all the members of FLW being up here.
It's important to have nights like this where the public can come in and meet these guys and find out that they're real, down-to-earth human beings. Ask a little fishing advice from these guys and have them be honest with them. I think that's terrific.
Well, again, here, they're being sincere because they're wanting to keep the industry going. Look at the kids out here.
Don't you love it? Look at them.
And that's the reason we're sharing the 14 and under deal with the prizes and giveaway. And, we're making these guys like heroes to these kids. They got to have a stigma to look up to. We were in New York for years. In baseball, you associate Babe Ruth,
Sure.
And you come out here, and we want the fishermen, Jay Ellis and Larry Nixon, Luke Clausen. Here it is. Everybody identifies with something, whether it be baseball, whether it be fishing. So this is important that we have what we call hands-on. Well, if you'll come down to our weigh-in, we'll let the people come right up to our fishermen and talk to them at weigh-in. It's that personal touch, and we are a family organization at FLW Outdoors, as is Chevrolet, and it goes hand in hand.
Now this, we're doing this on Wednesday night, the 8th day of July. What happens tomorrow?
In the morning, we'll have our first day of competition. There will be 2 days where we'll fish 150 boats, 150 pros, 150 co-anglers, and then come Saturday, we'll eliminate down to 10 boats. But all of them will start at 6:30 in the morning, right here on Lake Champlain. And they have to stay, there's off limits, they have to stay right here on Lake Champlain. And at 2:30, they were going to retrieve, or start retrieving them, and there'll be 9 flights that will come back in tomorrow. And so between 2:30 and 4:30, we'll bring them all back in. They get to weigh the best 5 bass. Now they could be red eye, could be smallmouth, could be Kentucky or spotted bass, or it could be a largemouth bass. But basically up here it's going to be 2 species, smallmouth and largemouth. And after 2 days, we'll have our top 10 in weight. Now the first 2 days their weight it does accumulate.
That's fantastic. And you think one of these guys will be the #1 bass fisherman in the country by the end of this fall?
Well, Brent Eller's leading it right now.
Is he?
He's a National Guard pro out here, but there's 4 other guys out there that points lead, and then that's worth a lot of more money for them being points leaders. So not only do we have $100,000 or $125,000 for that pro, then we've got points leaders that's going to be awarded at this tournament. Then we have the top 40 that will move on to the Forest Wood Cup. And we're going to give $1 million down if they got the right stuff in Pittsburgh.
And I hope they do.
Yep.
Right now, the spotlight's on Plattsburgh.
Right now, in other words, there's a lot at stake. Again, to win the tournament, first of all. Second of all, points leaders. And then third, to get in the top 40 from the FLW Tour to go to the Forest Wood Cup in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
That's wonderful. Robert, thanks so much for being with us tonight. Have a great weekend.
We'll do it, sir.
See you later.
Thank y'all.
Right.
Oh, it's good. Everything's great. I mean, it's a great crowd tonight.
Isn't it nice? The weather turns a little better. I think
you betcha.
Maybe you brought a little sunshine to town with you.
Well, I don't know. My buddy that lives up here, he's been telling me that I'm the reason the rain came.
Oh, that's not a good friend.
No, that's what I've been telling him, but he didn't believe me.
I don't know if fish bite better in the rain, or is that an old wives' tale?
I don't know. Heck, they're always wet, so I don't think it matters. I think it's good for some things and bad for others. I don't really care. We got to go anyways.
Where'd you come from to come here?
I was actually over at Pittsburgh for a few days. That's where the championship, the Forest Wood Cup's at.
I heard it's coming up. Huh?
Yeah, just in a couple of weeks. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I went over there and fished around a little bit and looked for it, scouted around a little bit before I came over here. So it's going to be a good tournament.
Have you been here before?
Oh yeah. I came here in the first BASS that they ever held here.
No kidding.
The one at Roland won. I finished second in that one.
Good for you.
So yeah, I've been coming here as long as they've been having them here.
You like this area?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the best places we ever come to. The fishery's awesome. The people are awesome. I mean, it's a treat to come to places like this. Let's put it that way. The Plattsburgh crew, even when it was over in Burlington, it was just a fun atmosphere. A lot of good fishermen that live up here, and like I say, it's just a fun place to come to.
I think bass fishermen, and maybe all fishermen, just love to fit in the community that they visit.
Absolutely.
They love to take a little drive around and see what the mountains and the lake looks like from another point of view.
I had my oldest boy brought his girlfriend with us this time, and as we was driving up the road, she was just like, "Oh my gosh, look at those mountains!" And really, I've been coming here so many years, 12, 14 years. I'd kind of forgot, just how beautiful everything was, and like I say, it's just it's a fun place to come. It's a beautiful place to be, and the summers are so nice. I mean, that's what's nice. I mean,
just keep telling me that.
my wife's been at home in 100-degree weather for about the last month and a half.
Where's home? Where's
Missouri.
Home? Oh my!
But it's been abnormally hot for some reason. This, especially right now. And like I say, she's been cussing me the last week or so because I've been telling her, "Oh, it's in the 50s of a morning," and she says, "I hope it rains on you." And by golly, it's working. She's cursed us. It's rained every day I've been here so far.
Is there an ideal temperature for you to go fishing?
No, not really. I don't care. I don't care. I've been doing this so long, it doesn't matter to me what it's like. I'm ready to go. I'm prepared for it no matter what happens.
Some people become plumbers.
Lightning?
And lightning?
Don't fish in the lightning. There was 6 of us sat under the bridge up there at the All Sable, or not All Sable, not the Allberg.
Oh, yeah.
There was 6 of us sat under that bridge yesterday during that storm because it was nasty.
You don't want to know where my big white dog was. He was so far under the couch,
Yeah.
he may never get out of there.
Yeah, I don't like that lightning. I don't fish in it. I don't care how much money's on the line. I don't fish in lightning. So yeah, that's been a little scary. And them little storms in the summertime, they produce a lot of that stuff.
They can be nasty.
But yesterday was the worst, I think. The other day it just rained a lot. It wasn't too bad. But yesterday there was a lot of lightning in that one. But you have that in the summertime. But it's been nice. This weather's just.
I ask everyone I've talked to tonight, and most people I interview, why they do what they do. How did it start for you as a little kid?
Well, my father's one of the best in the world. He's been doing this forever. So I kind of fell in his footsteps, and like I say, he won this tournament year before last, the Lake Champlain one. So yeah, so this place is kind of special to us. We always catch him up here. My son's actually fishing this week, so there's going to be 3 generations of Hibdons in this tournament. So that's kind of a neat deal. He's fishing on the amateur side of it, so.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about that. But
so to do it for a living, because your dad you were weaned on that.
There was never any doubt in my mind what I wanted to do for the most part. I had other options, but I kind of wanted to do this, and when I started, I started 23 years ago, so it's changed a lot since the FLW and and the people that they work with and the sponsors they work with, like Chevrolet and the Walmart crew and everything. It's just made this sport something that I never dreamed it would be. We haven't even mentioned Walmart tonight. It's time we mention Walmart because you betcha.
A huge part of this
You betcha. They've made this what it is. And like I say, it means a lot. Because maybe some of my kids want to do it someday. So that's the exciting part about it. The sport, the future looks bright. I mean, everything's in kind of a downturn right now, but that happens, my dad's told me about, there was times back then. It happens, and I think everything's kind of coming back around now. The economy's getting better, and like I say, the fishing industry looks good. So I'm kind of excited for my kids. One of these days they'll be able to do it if they want to.
I'll bet you're kind of excited about what might jump into your boat tomorrow.
Absolutely, at all times. Lake Champlain, there's never a time that I'm out there that I'm not excited about being here. It's one of the best fisheries we fish. Like I say, I've made a couple top 10s here, and I've always had a good time here. So I'm excited about tomorrow.
I'm glad you folks come from out of town and say this is a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Because like you said, coming up that Northway, if you've done it over and over and over again, we sometimes take our own backyard for granted.
You betcha.
But then you step back and you say, wow.
Yeah. And being out on Lake Champlain and looking at the mountains at the far end of the lake and stuff, that's just beautiful. We don't get to do that in very many places in the world. And there's a lot of beautiful places, but this one's probably one of the prettiest ones I've ever been to.
Now, you really think there's a really, really big monster bass out there just waiting for you?
Absolutely. I've been catching a few good ones, and I always seem to do pretty good here. So I'm kind of excited about tomorrow. They're doing what I want them to do. So I'm ready to go.
Does it matter how expensive your pole is?
Well, you got to use good equipment. It's like buying a car or anything else. You get what you pay for, Fishing rods and reels they're very important, so.
The equipment doesn't get any cheaper, does it?
No, it's not getting any cheaper. But like I say, technology will let you spend whatever you want to spend now, and like I say, some of that really high dollar stuff, it's amazing stuff to use, Do I use a ton of it? Not a ton of it. Everything I use is pretty affordable, and I work with my sponsors to see that happens. I don't want to have a signature series rod that nobody can buy. That's silly.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So the one that's got my name on it cost $89.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
So and it's one of those deals. I enjoy doing this. This has been something that me and my family's done together forever. My dad's here this week. We're all excited about fishing. And like I say, with my son in it, it makes it nice.
Now, let me ask you, I haven't asked any of the other guys I've talked to tonight, but do you develop what you think are some pretty unique fishing techniques just by having done it so long?
Oh, absolutely. We've all got our own little tricks and stuff that we do, And everybody, every one of the team, here has got something that they do exceptionally well, And luckily enough, two of the things that I do exceptionally well work very good on Lake Champlain. So
that's not too bad.
So I'm excited about that. Every time I come here, I can fish the way I want to, And that means a bunch, If you can go fish and you're in your comfort zone doing it, that makes a big difference in your outcome for the most part, If you have to go and do something you don't like to do, then you don't do it, with as much pizzazz as you want. So
you got the pizzazz, Bill.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited.
You got what it takes. I hope the fishing muses are with you tomorrow, and
would
just
be nice.
Put the big ones on the end of the line.
That
we'll
would
see
be
what
nice.
happens when it's all finished.
I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
That's great. Thanks so much for
You
being
betcha.
with us today.
You
Have
betcha.
a great weekend.
Thank you.
See you, Bill. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
How you doing, Luke Clausen?
Luke, how are you? That's Calvin Castine over here.
How you doing?
Gentlemen, did you notice what's up in the sky over my shoulder?
Sunshine,
Kind of
familiar.
kind of a rare thing around here. Did you guys go fishing yesterday?
I did.
Oh, yeah. I heard Dion saying he was hiding under the bridge in Alberg, Vermont when the lightning came yesterday.
Yeah, I was sitting right next to him.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that is a little scary.
Yeah.
I was in my car watching it come down through the sky, very happy that I wasn't in a boat underneath the bridge in Alberg, Vermont. Where are you guys from?
Spokane, Washington.
Oh,
Prosperity, South Carolina.
that's good too. Down in, right near North Charleston, a tornado touched down a few days ago.
Did it really? I haven't heard about
Yeah,
that.
I got some relatives down there who were kind of hiding under the sink there for a couple of days. You haven't been home in a while, have you?
No, it's been a little while.
Really? Have you been on the road too?
Oh, yeah. We've been traveling, most of the spring. Going back west, I only make it back there probably once in the spring, and then I'll spend a lot of time there in the fall. We're pretty busy this time of year.
Busy is the word for it.
Yeah.
And if you guys are like any of the other folks we've interviewed yet tonight, you'd like it up here.
Absolutely. Back home right now, it's been in the mid-90s, and the humidity is through the roof. So
We just talked to Dion.
I enjoy coming up here this time of year and having a break from the hot weather that I have
Wake
back
up
home.
in the morning and it's 53 degrees, and that's not too hard to take, Luke.
No, that's nice. It reminds me of home. This is kind of the way the weather is back there, and plus we have some great fishing right here.
Everybody says the fishing is good here. Not being fishermen, everything we hear tonight is an education for us, and we're learning a lot. I might buy a pole, I don't know. But maybe not a boat this year, but it is a good place, apparently, from what the guys are telling me.
Yeah, there's a lot of fish here. It's just amazing how many fish live in the lake. You can go pretty much anywhere in the lake and catch fish. For us, size is a major issue, but for somebody that wants to go have fun, it's not hard to catch something.
Now, explain the rules to me a little more. It's the best 5 fish. How does that work? You pick the 5 that weigh the most?
Throughout the day, we're catching fish, and after you catch your 5th fish, the next fish you catch, if it's bigger than anything that you have in your live well currently, we release the smallest one, and then keep the larger of the 2. So all day, you're currently upgrading your weight by releasing your smallest fish when you catch
So
one
if
bigger.
tomorrow you catch 5 and each one is over 10 pounds,
I'll give up and quit.
so have you both got amateurs with you tomorrow as well?
We will, yes.
And you don't know who they are yet, or do you?
Yeah, we've had a pairing. We haven't got to meet them yet because we're here. We've got their names and phone numbers. We'll meet them in the morning, call them tonight. But all the pros have amateurs for the first 3 days. All the pros fish the first 2 days, and then it'll cut to the top 10 after that. And there'll be 10 co-anglers the 3rd day, and they'll win their division the 3rd day. And the last day, the pros will go out by themselves.
I want to know how you get to this point. You guys are both true pros, and you wouldn't be here if you didn't have a lot of points already. How do you get to that point?
This is all I've really done is fish my whole life and been able to make a living doing it, and you keep learning more all the time and spending a lot of time on the water.
And hope you get good sponsors next year. Is that what you're telling me?
Sponsors definitely help. Great sponsors like Chevy in particular. But yeah, I'm the same way. This is all I've ever done. I went to college, graduated, and wanted to try my hand at professional bass fishing, and was able to do that. And then I haven't looked back since.
How do you get a degree in bass?
I actually have a degree in mechanical engineering. Had they offered a bass program, I probably would have gone that direction, but they didn't have that.
I love it. So you've both been, everybody we've talked to, my father did it. My grandfather took me fishing when I was 3. We got, what was it we just talked to? Was it Dion that said 3 generations?
Yeah.
His dad won this tournament a couple of years ago.
Kind of the competitive spirit that gets in you, and once you start fishing tournaments, it's hard to quit. It's almost like gambling. You get out there and you want to do better and better and better, and you keep going out in the water and trying to learn more and more.
I'm just going to use that analogy because it is like a crapshoot, isn't it? You don't know what.
There's not as much luck that goes into it as what you'd think, but it gets almost addictive like that, to where you want to go out and do it all the time and keep competing. And to compete, you want to practice all the time to make yourself better.
So how many days a year do you guys really fish?
I'd probably say I'd be on the water 150, somewhere around there.
That many?
Yeah. Probably about 150 myself too.
Then in the late fall, you kick back a little bit, or what?
Yeah, I hunt in the fall. That's my time to hunt. Yeah.
Never. No kidding.
It's time to play. Then I've worked all year.
Oh, you hunt deer?
Yeah, a little bit of everything: deer, elk, waterfowl, upland birds.
How about you?
I fish throughout the fall.
Do you really?
Yeah, I hunt a little bit, not very much. I'm not a big avid hunter, but I live in South Carolina where we can pretty much fish all year round. So even throughout the winter, I spend time fishing there.
Is there a real camaraderie among guys in this FLW outdoor group? Do you know all the guys really well?
Yeah, I know most of the guys. There's a few new guys that you don't know every year, but we travel with each other and get to hang out with each other all the time. Being on the road like that some good friendships are developed there.
So like somebody who has the best recipe for ketchup, you're not going to always share it, no matter if you're not sober by the end of the night. Everybody's got their own little tricks.
Yeah,
you learned that, right?
Yeah.
Their own little techniques, a favorite piece of equipment.
Right, yeah, everybody's kind of got their little quirks with their fishing and with their personality and everything else, and you get to know that about all the people, and really there's not much animosity between any of the anglers. Everybody's pretty good friends.
So where do you guys fit in the standings right now?
I'm in 3rd right now.
Wow.
Just a few points out of the Angler of the Year deal, so I'm going to have to do well here.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's time not to choke.
You better get up about 4:30 tomorrow morning. How about you?
I'm in 30th right now, so I'm kind of on the bubble.
That's in the ballpark. Like you said, that's on the bubble. 3rd's not too hard,
Not too hard.
By the end of this weekend, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It
Could
depends.
you get enough points to be number 1?
Oh yeah, I'm only 5 points out of the lead, so it's a really close race, and it depends on how everybody else does and how I do. It really comes down to me against the fish. I need to catch enough to do really well.
I want to know how can you go to sleep the night before a big tournament like that?
It was a lot harder when I first started.
Was it?
Yeah, when I first started, you had a lot more anxiety. You get nervous at night, start thinking about things, and pretty soon at 11 o'clock at night, you're out in your boat climbing around, tying something else on. And now we've had so many tournaments and fished for $1 million before. When you have already had that happen, going to the tournament like this for 125 grand doesn't worry you nearly as much.
The analogy has been used many times tonight about how this tournament, FLW Outdoors, it's structured almost like professional baseball. And you guys are like in the big leagues now, so I imagine it's a little bit different. But you can't tell me that there won't be a little adrenaline rush when you get that first hit tomorrow morning.
Oh, it's always exciting. I love catching fish. That's why we do it. It's not even as much as fighting the fish in. For me, it's getting the bite. You outsmarted that fish. In practice, a lot of times we'll go out and use a bait with no hook on it. It's just as exciting for me to get a bite in practice with no hook as it is to catch one in the tournament. It's just outsmarting that fish.
And sometimes, from what I understand, talking to guys tonight, the big fish don't fight as hard as some of the little fish.
No, sometimes not. If you get a great big one, a lot of times they'll kind of wallow around. They're kind of big and old and lazy, and you get a 3 or 4 pounder, it can whoop you.
I'm glad I'm not a fish. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for stopping by. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Okay, see you later, guys.
With the city of Plattsburgh and
I have the Plattsburgh Bass Club.
You do. This Calvin Castine over my shoulder with the camera. Well, how exciting is this for you, Dan?
This is the third year I've worked for these guys, helping them out. I usually take my vacation while they're up here and just help the FLW. We're sanctioned by the FLW and federated, so we've got the first TBF New York State division up here. We're the only club in New York to have that, and it's been pretty good. We took some of the guys up to the bobsled run today, and they had
I heard they were going to go up there.
Oh, they had an awesome time. They wanted to do the big one, but...
You know, a lot of these guys who are from the deep south, where the lakes don't ever freeze over, never get a chance to go down Mount Van Hovenberg or even to look at a bobsled or a luge run.
They were pretty impressed by what they seen today. They got to see the Russians do their aerials on the jumps, on the water jumps.
Did they really?
Oh yeah, they had a great time up there. It was something that they'll remember for a while.
You know, it's like these guys who come back year after year, and they come back because it's a good tournament, but because they really like it here. And you've just pointed out something that we've mentioned several times tonight. The beauty of this North Country. I mean, you go up to Lake Placid, you see world champion athletes doing their thing.
Oh,
it's great, isn't it?
I mean, they took a tour of the training facilities and everything, and they were just amazed on how much is done in New York State for the Olympians. And I think we'll have some more come back and want to do it again.
Well, most of the guys that we've talked to have been here many times before. Some of the guys as many as 14 years since the FLW tournament started up here. And you've been working with them for how long?
3 years.
3 years now. Yeah. But you're a bass fisherman yourself,
yes,
right?
Yeah, we have, like I said, we have a club, Plattsburgh Bass Club. We started it just for a few people to get together and fish, and now we have 96 members, so we're pretty big.
I think that's wonderful.
We have anglers in our club that do fish the FLW tournaments, and we actually sent one to the national championships in Illinois this year, first year.
What's wrong with that?
Not a thing.
Nothing at all.
He did very well. Overall, he placed 15th overall in nationals, so it was an accomplishment for us. I mean, first year.
You ought to elect him president, right? So are you from this area, Dan?
I'm from Morrisonville. I live probably about a quarter mile from you.
No kidding.
Yeah.
As long as you don't throw rocks down the hill on me, that's all.
Oh, no.
No, so you've been fishing for a long time.
I've been fishing, bass fishing, this is only my second year.
Really?
I was always a trout fisherman. And I was out fishing the LCI tournament and decided I was going to buy a bass boat that night, and I ended up with one, and here I am.
Isn't that amazing?
It's awesome. It's awesome. And the people in the club, in the FLW, here at Bill McBride's, everywhere. I mean, everybody's great. When these guys come to town, we try to do whatever we can for them.
I think everybody's happy with the turnout here tonight, too.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of our friends and neighbors from Morrisonville and from all over the country.
And all over. And I think on Saturday and Sunday, you're going to see some real good turnouts at the field house for the live weigh-ins. We've got Jeff Bodine coming in, which Rick Perry.
I heard that was happening.
Rick Perry and I have been working on that for a couple
I thought maybe
now.
Bodine would be up in Lake Placid today, but...
Well, he's on other commitments right now, but he'll be in here Friday. We did get to meet some of the world champions from last year, and they will all be with us this week. We're going to try to get them out on the water for a little while and do a few things for them.
You know, it doesn't hurt us when these guys go back home and talk about Lake Champlain, talk about Plattsburgh, talk about this beautiful area.
And they all love coming here.
Every one of them.
We're like ranked probably 3rd or 4th in the country as far as bass fisheries.
Yeah.
Which nobody ever did.
One guy started in the top 10, and we got him up to in the top 5 before he finished. So I think that's pretty neat.
And then people just didn't realize that we had a fishery like that.
We got a lot of things here. Like I said before, we've kept a secret for a long time, but not anymore. We're letting everybody know.
And that's good. I mean, it brings a lot to the community.
It really does. Dan, thanks so much for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Have a great
Anytime
weekend.
you want to go out fishing, you just come see us.
You got to have a big boat for my butt, I'll tell you that.
Gordy, Larry Nixon.
Well, I'm so glad to meet you. What a day, huh?
Oh, beautiful right now. That sun.
A little bit of sunshine.
Kind of foreign. I hadn't seen that in a while.
We better appreciate that. We don't know how long it's going to be out. I've asked everybody tonight whether fish bite better when it's sunny or whether it's rainy. You don't even care, do you?
I don't care, but believe me, smallmouth like sunshine. They're just a crazy fish. They love sunshine.
Come on.
Sunshine and wind. That's the deal.
Oh boy.
Guarantee you.
Well, I know you fished on this lake many times in the past, but that wind can be a little crazy.
And I'm getting old enough now that I'm beginning to hate wind. And yes, this lake gets rough. And but I just go slow. I don't worry about it anymore. I just take my time, go 25 miles an hour, and I don't have any trouble out there in that rough water.
So how many times have you been in this tournament?
I've been in every single BASS and FLW since the first one, whenever that was. I think 98 or maybe. When was the hurricane? You remember?
It was even before that. Didn't somebody say
Went out of Burlington.
14 years ago, maybe. Did you? Yeah, that's right, out of Burlington.
I fished all of them, except for the last 2 BASSs up here. I quit bass 2 years ago.
Where are you originally from?
Arkansas.
Of course.
Razorback, dude.
The Arkansas traveler. Well, you obviously like to come back here. You wouldn't be here.
I love it up here. I love the weather in the north. I love the fishing on Champlain, and I enjoy my trip up here every year.
Besides the natural beauty that we have, what makes a good fishery like this?
I think you just don't have a lot of people bass fishing. It seems like they like to fish for perch
you keep
and
this
walleye.
Up, they're all going to be here.
And I go out there and practice, and I don't see many local people out there fishing for bass. See a lot of them fishing for perch, and a few of them fishing for smallmouth, but you go to the lakes in the south, and on Saturday and Sunday, you can't even turn around for the people fishing.
No kidding.
Yep. And not only that, but this is it's a big expanse of water. It has a tremendous amount of spawning grounds, and that's the key. If you don't have spawning grounds, you don't have a fishery. And Champlain has got a lot of flat water in it, even though it has a lot of deep water in it. It has a lot of shallow, flat pockets that are rocky and got weeds, and you got places for the bass to survive and grow up, and that helps.
It's amazing these days because you've got the equipment to find out where those shallow spots are, where the weeds are.
Yeah, we used to come up here. I remember the first time I came here, we didn't have GPS back in them days, and everything was off a map, and now I found so many places back then, and I can't even find them now because I didn't have a GPS then.
Isn't that amazing how we rely on technology?
Nowadays it really is.
Yeah. So what? I've asked some of the other guys, does it help to have a boat that costs $50,000 more than the other guys?
Well,
what's the difference in equipment?
I don't know that any of them cost $50,000 more than the others, but the only thing about the big boats and the fast boats is we can go long distances in between them, wind blow maybe. If a big storm's coming, we can get the heck home. It expands the grounds that you can fish, and it increases the fishing time. But let me tell you what, if I was just out there fishing for fun, I'd probably have me a boat that's about $25,000, $30,000 and go on down the road and don't worry about it. But then I might trailer to fish somewhere where now I may have to run to fish there. You don't have to run all over the world, even though a fancy bass boat's nice. It's really nice.
Oh yeah, really.
It's really
some of these boats are really, really nice. How many hours are you going to be fishing this weekend?
We fish 8 hours a day. Well, usually it turns into about 9 hours and 15 minutes because of the flight times. If you're in the first flight, you have to be in at 2:30, which means you've got 8 hours from the time you take off to the time you come in.
I'm glad I asked you that.
Yeah. And if you're in the second flight, you get an extra 20 minutes over that guy in the first flight. But then tomorrow, he'll go from the first flight to the last flight, which means he gets the full day.
So it rotates. Yeah.
See, tomorrow I'll probably be took off by 6:45, 47. It takes about 21 minutes maybe. And I'm in the last flight tomorrow, so I don't have to come in until 4:30. So I'll get another hour and a half off the guys in the first flight tomorrow. But the next day, then I go to the front. So I get the short day.
And as much technology as you have and as much experience as you have, there's still going to be some unknowns for you out on that lake tomorrow, I bet.
There is lots of unknowns because the good areas on Champlain, you know, you may be in a basin that's 5 miles wide and 10 miles long, and out there in 13 foot of water, everything's 13 foot, but there's one little rock pile that might be 12 and a half foot. And if you don't sit down right on top of that rock pile, you may fish all day and only catch 16 pounds, and the guy that knows where that spot full of 4-pounders is, he'll catch all 4-pounders.
And I bet you feel at the end of some days that those guys down there are saying, well, maybe we won't let them catch us today.
We all go through bad days, and you know, a bad day of fishing is still, I mean, a bad day of tournament competition is still a good day of fishing, and that's the way I look at it.
I'm gonna
have fun.
That's a quote we can keep.
I'm going to have fun, and no matter win, lose, or draw, I'm going to enjoy myself and just do the best I can do.
So you've been at the top and bottom of a lot of tournaments. Where do you stand in the points right now?
Right now, I think I'm in 12th. And after the crossovers, I'm probably in 7th. I've had a good year. I finished 3rd last month at Kentucky Lake, so I've had a great season.
Experience is a good teacher.
Experience is a good teacher. I've been at it 32 years, believe me.
Have you really?
32 years.
I bet you look forward to Pennsylvania then, don't you, huh?
Well, now let's see. I don't know. I went there once and didn't catch much, but yes, I'm going to have fun at Pennsylvania. They're great bass fishing fans there, and you know, I've always had one rule of thumb in tournament fishing. It doesn't matter if you only catch 8 pounds or 40 pounds. It's what you have at the end of the game that declares a winner. Yeah. So whether it's good or bad, it's still going to have a winner.
I love it. You're the man.
Too.
Thanks so much. Have a terrific weekend.
Thank you.
Come back and see us.
Kim Stricker.
Kim, Calvin Castine right over here.
Calvin, my pleasure.
I hate to have you look right in that sun there, but it sure is nice to have it, Kim, isn't it?
It's a new thing. I haven't seen it in the last couple of days.
It's a rare treat for us, but a lot of these fishermen are from places where it's now 97 degrees, 103.
Right. This is just when our kind of water gets hot. I mean, good.
Yeah.
You know, when they've got the dog days of summer down there, the northern lakes are just on fire. And Champlain is one of those fabulous fisheries, not only smallmouth but great largemouth fishing.
That's what they tell me. Galvin and I aren't fishermen, so we've learned a great deal tonight. Where are you from?
From Michigan. I've spent a lot of time on the Great Lakes, Lake St. Clair, and those areas. And I have a television show on Versus called Hook and Look. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Who came up with that one? Was that you?
That was me.
Hook and Look, huh?
The look part is we spend half of the time under the water, scuba diving the lakes and showing the habitat and everything.
Oh, isn't that neat?
One of the main reasons I bring it up is Lake Champlain is an ideal place to do one of our programs, and we may come back here in October and do one up here. I know a lot of the locals want to see the pilings up at Rouse's Point, and we may show that from.
You know, what you have to bear in mind is that it's not the clearest water in the world.
It's plenty clear. I've dove here on several occasions. I just haven't done one of my shows.
Well, I think you ought to.
Absolutely.
Start the planning tonight before you fish tomorrow.
That's right. In fact, 2 weeks we're going to be on Lake Oneida to do a show for next season also.
No kidding. Now it's broadcast
on the Versus Network 3 times a week. I believe we'll be on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard come January.
Have you done any in New York before?
Thousand Islands. We had a show there this year. It was phenomenal.
Going up there in a couple of weeks, Brian. Right next door.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's nice up there.
Yes, no question. This is God's country.
You say that, and everybody else has said it, whether they believe in God or not. Somebody up there made this beautiful spot. What is special for you about this place?
I'm a big smallmouth fanatic, and I come from Lake St. Clair, those areas that are world-class smallmouth fisheries. But up here, you've got more. The scenery has a big part to do with it. It's actually a relatively easy body of water, except for its size, to fish. I mean, they're kind of predictable as far as how you've got nice rocky points and defined weed lines and things like that. And such a tremendous population of fish and forage, and it's just And on top of that, the people here have been wonderful, and they always have been.
You know, we always spend a lot of time touting the people in this area because we think they're kind of special. They add to that quality of life. But you touched on something that I haven't mentioned to any of the other fishermen. You do this for a living.
Yeah.
So how is it hard work some days and not so hard?
Oh, there's no question. After 28 years of this, and I'm not a spring chicken anymore, there's no doubt it wears on you. Especially a body of water like Lake Champlain, which blows up and it gets rough and it makes it tougher on us, but you deal with it. But it is a job. There's no question. Anytime you have to do something, have to perform, it's a job.
Well, why did you choose this for a living?
I just absolutely love to fish. You know,
it's as simple as that, isn't it?
Fondest memories of childhood have been fishing. Everything, all my things with my dad, fishing. He didn't take me hunting, we went fishing. And chased girls. No.
Sometimes
he didn't really teach me that one. I kind of learned that one on my own.
So like everybody else that we've talked to, they held a first fishing pole when they were just very, very tiny.
Right, and you get that bug. You know, some guys get, some girls get it. My daughter's got it. It just sticks with you, and it's a wonderful thing to have because it's good, clean family fun.
You know, that's another good point. It's a great sport for ladies too.
There's no question. In fact, let me share this. Speaking of my daughter, we did a show with my daughter this year. We did it on Lake St. Clair, and my daughter Katie has quite a bit of wit, and it was her wit that landed us a spot on Sports Soup. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I've heard of it.
They do, and they kind of mock some of the things. Well, they featured our Hook and Look.
Did they really?
Because of what my daughter did. We ran across rough water, and she had a rain suit on, and we get to the spot, and she's getting up, she's taking her rain suit off, and she looks at the camera and she says, does anybody have any dollar bills? For fives, I'll do it slower. And boy, they played on that. The guy on Sports Soup goes, oh, poor Dad.
Oh. Then they maybe played it over and over again.
And they did during the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I mean, the amount of publicity was phenomenal.
Well, that's not hard to take either.
Yeah, no doubt. But
so you enjoy doing the show?
Oh, absolutely. And I look at that. That's my future. We've been on for 2 years. We're working on the third year right now. And you know, eventually, I'm not going to be able to keep this pace up forever. And that's where I want to do my retirement years. Under the water.
But like everything else that you do, the traveling gets tougher as time goes on, doesn't it?
There's no question. And I also want to mention, you speak about the travel, my son Danny is my partner in the program. He does all our camera work. But traveling this year has been one of our difficult things. We had the first brand new 2009 Suburban that at 65 miles an hour, the two of us rolled it 1 3/4 times on I-70.
Killing me.
We hit black ice.
Oh boy!
Running from a chute, we had the boat on the back. Unfortunately, the boat broke loose. But it was a scary deal. They took me away in a back brace and that kind of stuff. But everything, it was all
nothing broken,
soft tissue. And I'm going to say this: there is no question that the Chevy Suburban protected us.
There you go, Brian.
There's no question. The safety cage, the side air impact bags, the seat belts. If we didn't have them on, we'd been dead. There's no question.
And the boat?
The boat broke free. It was fine. The Ranger got lucky on that one.
Oh, that's great. But it did slow you down for a couple of weeks.
It was scary. Right? We were one of probably 20 accidents there.
Oh boy!
At a little spot that the police called Death Valley. They don't
get those nicknames for nothing,
That's
right?
exactly right.
So you're going to start out bright and early tomorrow?
And I'm ready.
Where are you in the standings right now?
We don't need to talk about that. It's not been one of my proudest years. And see, and that's another thing. You start a television show, and any of the guys here will tell you, once you get a show, your tournament fishing takes a back seat.
But it's still fun to be here.
Oh, there's no question. And
maybe tomorrow?
I'm catching fish. It's just a matter if I can get the 4-pounders tomorrow, and if they're willing to cooperate. I've caught them here before.
You get one that weighs about 10 pounds, 6 ounces.
That would be
That would make up for some little slack there, right?
I'd say I think I have a better chance of catching 5-pounders than I do on 10.
Good luck with it. It's
I certainly
great to meet
appreciate
you.
it. My
Great
pleasure.
to see you. Good luck
My
with the
pleasure.
show, too.
Thank you.
See you later. Okay.
We're recording again, Gordy.
Okay, and we're inside.
We are inside.
After spending a very pleasant half an hour, 35 minutes outside in the sunshine in real time at 7:30 at night. For those people who are watching our streaming video on the internet, they know that.
How are we doing?
For people who are watching at some other, oh, you're the man.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh, ooh.
There's the show.
How about that?
On the VS versus...
Look and look, what a clever idea, huh?
Yeah. On the VS network versus... he's gonna, I guess they're going to go to that, the old Rutland bridge there in Rouse's Point. That'd be a great place.
I bet you it would, huh?
Yeah.
At least we caught some of them under the bridge in Alberg. So, yeah, we're recording this and broadcasting it live at the same time on the 8th day of July, 2009.
789 today.
Huh?
789 today.
Isn't that amazing?
That's right.
Only Calvin Castine would know 789.
Today was a day a lot of people look forward to because at 12:43:56 it was a rare occasion when it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Isn't that amazing? I didn't know that until right now, this moment.
A lot of people knew that. We're looking forward to it.
Those wonderful things should be number one on my list, but I wasn't. I was too busy doing other things to be aware of that. There's still a nice crowd hanging around tonight, Calvin. That's good.
There must be prizes to be awarded.
Oh, you know, they'll always. That's one thing I learned a long time ago. You can give away an old T-shirt.
They're giving away good stuff here.
Oh, they do. The first 100 people got an FLW outdoor fishing tournament hat. Young people got special prizes. There was a die-cast boat that was being given away. A lot of fishing gear, the little kids and adults. It was especially nice to see the youngsters who won a fishing pole with the big smiles on their face, and after all, that's how those first fishing memories might be created.
Now, you and I have been wanting to do a fishing show here.
Yes, we have. We bait people, and we didn't even have to go out on the boat tonight.
No, we wanted to cover some of these tournaments, and this is a great way to do it. And,
what a wonderful way to do it.
Yeah.
Our friend Brian McBride at McBride Chevrolet on US Avenue. Brian is the one who created and hosts Plattsburgh.com, and many people have been watching our videos, hometown cable videos, our little corners and others, including what's going on here. I love to watch Bob Ben. I hope he's happy with what we're doing with this stuff, because he did about 500 programs, and some of them are real classics. And the longer ago he did them, the more classic they become.
Of course, everything evolves, and it's. Oh, we got a young winner here, Gordy.
Well, we got a winner. I don't know. They're taking pictures. They're doing all kinds of things. I'm not sure. We're getting a picture taken with the pro team. And I should have been paying more attention instead of having my lips flap, I guess. But it is. It's like a great occasion here tonight, because you've got a lot of happy people. You got I've learned a lot about the psychology of fishing. Apparently it's good for what ails you, because these people just love it.
Yeah, well, I get a kick out when you ask them how come they're doing it, so they love fishing. There's a whole lot of people who love fishing, but can't afford to get in a tournament like this.
Oh, well, these guys, they also don't let them kid you. They're doing it now because that's what they do for a living.
Right, but I mean, to get to that point and to decide that, because it's an expense, it's not like we compared it to baseball before. Well, if you're a baseball player, they'll sign you to a contract and put you through the minors and pay your salary while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Here, it's the other way around. You've got to get those sponsors. You've got to pay the entry fees. You've got to have a boat and get it from here to there and everywhere else. So
yeah, you learned a little bit about the structure of the sport, so to speak, from some of these guys, especially the guys that have been doing it for 25, 30, 32, 33 years. Giving away some night. That looks like a jacket maybe or something. Given away across there. The little kids are indeed having a good time. This is the showroom, by the way, the big showroom at the front of Bill McBride Chevrolet. I'll never forget the time I met Bill McBride Sr. when he and his family first came to town. I was on the radio. We spent a lot of time learning about his philosophy of doing business, and that philosophy extended, as it does for the current generation, to giving back to the community. And I think Plattsburgh.com is a great way to give back in a tremendous way. Calvin and I have always felt that way. It's good to give back. There's Bill Jr. Well, we got 50, 60 people in here now and enjoying the spectacle.
Bill and Brian McBride. The dad is not here. This is the second generation, and we miss your dad being out of this event, and he'd be here if he could. All right, thank you very much, and let's move right along. Bill and Brian both said that we've had a wonderful evening. It's kind of dragging a little bit. I'm going to give the rest of it away, and we're going to bid you a good night. But again, here, this is the sixth stop, the FLW Tour Chevy.
Live cross country here from Plattsburgh, New York.
There we go. Tell them what's happening here.
What's happening is he's calling on the phone. Is somebody where?
In Escondido, California.
Holy mackerel!
3,000 miles away as the crow flies.
And he
The
knows
crows are flying away because it's too wet here.
Okay, California. He's going to get on Plattsburgh.com.
He's asking if I've had anything to drink. I don't understand that.
Not yet, but we hope to have a cold one when we're finished.
Yeah, what is it? Plattsburgh?
Plattsburgh.com.
Plattsburgh.com. www.plattsburgh.com.
This is Ross O'Loughlin.
BRG8.
There's his brother Tom graduated with me at St. Mary's 45 years ago.
Oh, no wonder we knew the nickname.
I got Stein.
All right. And he's going to try to get his brother to see him here over the internet live here. There we go. Can you see that?
Oh, boy.
I just broke the camera. Let's do it.
Now, you and I are looking in the screen.
Yeah.
FLW Bass Pro Night.
Apparently, Tom O'Loughlin can't figure out how to hit the right buttons there in California. Who's this?
My wife.
It's your wife? Hi, wife.
Hi.
Hi.
I win.
You win? All right. All right.
I didn't stop.
Maybe you should try.
Right at the very top of the page, there's a video window.
Video window at the top of the page.
You gotta click the play button in the middle of it.
Oh, you got it.
You got it?
See?
No, that only
He's
took.
calling his wife in.
That's like when Regis and
things out
Kelly
there in
call somebody
California.
who's in bed in the morning.
Hey, Ma, come look at
The
this.
state's broke. They don't have TVs anymore out there.
Well, we made it to California, Brian. We can retire anytime. Why do we always wave? As if they
just
couldn't
wave.
see our faces, right?
We're at Bill McBride Chevrolet. They got a big fishing tournament in town, and professional fishing tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Calvin, and is this hometown or is this?
It's his hometown cable at its very best, right here.
Calvin's running the camera. You can't see him.
Of course not.
See his finger?
There's
My finger.
Calvin's
that's the
finger.
thinnest
The
of all the
index.
fingers.
He got it.
What's happening
Well,
here now, Brian?
I'm like, I know that's my kid.
We're in the final stages of some gift giveaways for the people that came in to give us their time and meet the Bass Pros. We're kind of in the final stages of the event. Thank you very much for coming in.
Everybody.
And
On the wiry, Plattsburgh.com.
we're giving away a few final gifts here.
Not a bad idea, and some nice gifts, and the little kids want some good.
Mostly for the kids. I mean, this is really all about the kids.
Yeah, I know. came by with.
Well, it's a good thing for Chevrolet to be a sponsor.
Absolutely.
And you know, this FLW tournament is bigger and bigger and bigger every year. And if we haven't accomplished anything else tonight, Brian, it's listening to these guys applaud Lake Champlain in Plattsburgh, New York.
Yeah, it's
just then we get a round of applause. Not bad.
It's interesting to learn that we have yet another valuable asset right under our own noses, and we were never aware of it. I mean, we know the lake's a beautiful place, but the level of sport that these guys pull out of that lake and the enjoyment that they get is great.
These are the best bass fishermen in the world. This is the organization that's the biggest fishing tournament organization in the world. And this is the last of the big tournaments here before they go to Pennsylvania for the finals next month. So.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank the FLW, Chevrolet, and I want to thank you and Calvin for coming in tonight.
This was a real experience for both of us, especially when we knew we made it to California, you know. But we're delighted. We're delighted for the people who tuned it in on the internet on purpose. And imagine what it was like for those people who just went to Plattsburgh.com to look at one of our old videos and said, well, let's see what's streaming tonight, and they caught us here.
Absolutely.
That's neat.
Yep, this is great.
You've it's been how long has it been since you had this dream of Plattsburgh.com?
Well, we launched the website about a year ago, and it's been quite a year. We made some very significant progress, and the next year should be twice as large, twice as good, twice as much content, and interesting things to see.
It takes a long time, and it takes not a small amount of technology to be able to accomplish that. And I know you just love to put things together like that.
Oh yeah, no,
You've thoroughly enjoyed it so far.
Yep, no, this is a lot of fun, and I get a lot of enjoyment from putting things together like this, and I hope that people that visit Plattsburgh.com get as much enjoyment out of it as I do.
Maybe we convinced a few people to take their family out fishing.
I think so.
Lake Champlain, now that we know it's either in the top 5 or the top 3 fisheries in the United States, that's pretty good.
Absolutely, it's a great lake to fish on.
And are you a fisherman? I never even asked you that. I haven't fished in 40 years probably.
No, Friday fried fish special up at mainly seafood and lobster.
Our friends Rick and Bonnie.
Yes.
I love it. That works for me if it works for you. But we had a nice crowd here tonight. Inside and outside, maybe a total of a couple hundred or more throughout the course of the evening.
Oh yeah, no, this has been great. It was a great turnout, and I want to thank everybody for coming in.
And thank you for having us. I thought that was a big kick. Oh, and Calvin's on the phone with California. Man, I'll tell you, he's milking it.
Bill McBride's owns the. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
See y'all.
And who knows where we're going to be next time for our little corner.